Hello and welcome to the Other 14 FC podcast. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
And I'm Tom, a West Ham fan.
And this is your podcast for everything not top six. Tired of being last on match of the day and not getting the flowers you deserve? Well, that's about change. Tom, what do we have for listeners this week?
Right, let's get to grips with those who finished in the bottom half last season. Are we aiming for Europe or looking over our shoulders at the threat of relegation? Again, disclaimer, this is recorded a couple of weeks before release, as Alex has to go to America to see Mickey Mouse and Optimus Prime. What are you annoyed about this week, bud?
My old man yelling at clouds for this week is decent footballers going to a basket case Chelsea club who are not even in Europe when their team is in Europe.
Do you mean Danny Welbeck?
Oh no, I'm not even in because his club his club is in Europe. Shit, didn't even think about that. Well, when their club are in a good European competition, unlike that bullshit Conference League shit. Yeah, I can't get my head around that stuff. And do you want to talk about now or talk about when we get in? Tom's just put up the money signs for anyone who didn't see, but it's madness. I just don't get why you'd ruin your career. We're talking about.
I assume you're talking about Lacroix moving to Chelsea from Palace, and not Danny Welbeck's move from Brighton to Chelsea.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm not against him going. Like, if we had to lose anyone at the back, probably best to lose him because he's a great defender, but he's kind of great because of his recovery pace, and he does have a mistake in him. I thought he was a good leader that we'll miss at the back now, but I think Richards or Henderson could take over that role. But
we'll get onto that. We'll get onto the ins and outs of it. To be fair, mine is also slightly relevant for today's episode. I'm annoyed that Alex is not more annoyed at Glasner leaving Palace and going to Forest, and I know he's been really calm and collected, and he's like, Glasner gave us the best year of our life, he can go wherever he wants now, and he's not been bitter about Marinakis getting Palace knocked out of Europa League last year, but this is a man that I used to know as a bitter, angry, resentful man. This is how me and Alex became friends, and to just hear this lackluster, just not annoyed at Glasner leaving. Yeah, that's what I'm annoyed about.
Well, maybe wait for my bold predictions next week, and then you might see some bitterness coming out. I'm not bitter because I don't think it's going to go well. I mean, if they start doing well, my bitterness might show throughout the season. But currently, from experiences and knowing, looking at Forest over the last year, not last year, last seasons, I just can't see it ending well, so that's probably why I'm not too bitter. But I am. One of my yelling at clouds for during the season might be how angry Palace fans are at Glasner compared to me. But yeah, let's see how that goes.
Alex has currently got his clip-on microphone in his beard, so if you heard the mic drop, it was a beard mic drop. Should we take a break and then get into it?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, and we're back. So, Tom, are we starting with Fulham as they finished 11 last season?
Yep, yeah, starting with the top of the bottom of the pile. Fulham finished 11th last season. Top scorer was Harry Wilson, who has since departed. But there's another big departure at Fulham at Craven Cottage, and that's Marco Silva out. He's off to Benfica, and they've brought in Alvaro Arbeloa, well known as a player in his time. Managerial experience probably on the light side of things. Real Madrid youth, and then took over as interim first team coach last season when Xabi Alonso was sacked. He actually had a worse points per game record than Xabi Alonso, so maybe that was a tough job too soon for Arbeloa, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he fares at Craven Cottage. I could see it going either really, really well or really, really poorly.
That's exactly it, isn't it? I want to sit there and say it feels like a good decision, but I don't know if it necessarily does. It's not. It's a very odd one, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a bit of a risk. If you're Fulham, surely
it's a major risk. His time at Real Madrid, with the first team at Real Madrid, he had highs like wins over Man City and in the derby against Atletico. But he also had lows. He lost his first game to second tier Albacete in the cup, lost to Getafe and a relegation threatened Mallorca. I've looked into his tactical style and what he wants to do, mainly with his time at the Real Madrid youth, and it is a lot of playing on the front foot, but they are open to mistakes, and that I fear bodes badly for Fulham. Like, I feel like he's gonna maybe try and come in and be like, let's go front foot, let's press, let's like really try and like outperform what our level of talent is, and then open themselves up at the back. And they're going to struggle at the moment. They're going to struggle because they've lost their top two goal scorers with Wilson and Jimenez leaving this summer on free transfers.
That's madness, ain't it? Like, it really is. And they've not really brought anyone in to fill that hole yet. Like,
no. At the time of recording, they've only made Yona Kusi-Asare's loan spell from Bayern Munich permanent, and he barely played last season. It was a handful of appearances, a smattering of minutes. They're crying out for a first choice centre forward. Like, I like Rodrigo Muniz, but I don't think he's necessarily developed into being an outright like number 9, like first name on the team sheet kind of striker. Like, he still kind of strikes to me as still someone who needs someone else there when he's not firing to come in and start games in his stead.
Were they banking on Josh King coming good? Well,
Josh King's like an attacking midfielder, right? Like, he's not a big number, like he's not a strong number 9. Like, he's a skillful, talented attacking midfielder. I think he can play anywhere across there, but he's quite lightweight, so I would struggle to see him dominating against centre backs in the Premier League.
It's worrying, ain't it? Because everyone's going to know you need a striker in the market as well. It doesn't really. Is he going to know the Premier League as a manager? It's all a bit Fulham, isn't it?
It is, and it's just like, I look at the rest of their squad and I could argue that they're also in need of a centre-back, a central midfielder or two. Like, I think they've got this wealth of sort of attacking midfield options. Like, I think they're really sort of like, they've got quite a decent enough depth in that area, but none of them are necessarily quite scary either. They're all like quite nice, like on their day players, like Smith Rowe, Oscar Bob, like Josh King, like you said, the sort of thing that they're good players, but do they scare you at all?
It's crazy. Gone back to
he was just on loan.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
he did bits from here and there as well.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, and then like Kevin started really looked really bright, and then kind of faded as the season went on. Like, I'm a bit concerned for them because I think if they don't get the recruitment right, and all the rumours are basically linking Arbeloa with Real Madrid youth players, and it's like that's fine, but then you're also asking young players to come like into the Premier League and like establish themselves. So it's like a double-edged sword of like, yes, these are really talented young players, but making that transition from youth to first team is already really, really difficult, and then to do it in a new league as well is just an additional challenge that like we've seen time and time again won't work for every player. So to do that like with 2 or 3 players, which it sounds like is what they like, that's all the rumours you see. And then if they're trying to play, like Arbeloa wants them to play like high pressing, expansive football, I'm looking at like the centre backs and I'm wondering if they can cut it. I'm looking at the centre midfielders and wondering have they got the legs for that kind of system. It's I've talked myself into it being concerning for Fulham. I'm
not gonna lie, I didn't have them going up the table. I didn't have them anywhere near the top 10 in my predictions. But the more we talked about it, the worse I felt for it, because I knew it was not going to be good losing probably your star player and a manager who's going to probably keep you in the Premier League for sure. Are we being too harsh? I don't think we are.
Maybe. I mean, like, I think if Marco Silva had stayed on, then I think the floor would have been higher. I just think with a new manager who has relatively little experience with first team football and no Premier League experience, it's such a gamble. Like, we've seen high profile former players come in and not work as managers at all. Like, he's making all the right sounds. Like, I've seen the clips that Fulham have been putting out. I could see it going both ways, really. Like, he could be a breath of fresh air at Fulham. Like, that, I think they'd kind of almost felt a little bit stale with Marco Silva. Like, we said it last season in the preview. We're like, can they kick on, or are they going to finish 10th, 11th again? And ultimately they did. So I can understand, and I think we were like also saying like, do you roll the dice? Do you get someone else in, sort of thing? And they've done so. I just think it's a massive, massive gamble.
They really need. Oh God, they've not got a lot of midfielders, have they? They've got like 6 midfielders, and
Yeah.
five strikers. But if you're including Alex Iwobi as one of your strikers, you're in a bit. I mean,
really, like, apart from like attacking midfield, fullbacks, and goalkeeper, I think they could probably do with a new spine of the team.
God, that is really worrying. I mean, the only thing is they don't have European football to worry about, so it might be something to help on their side, I guess. Less games to worry about. Oh, I don't know. They need a big win, big end of the window, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, they massively do. Like, my one to watch was really hard for this. I was like, if they don't sign a striker, then it has to be Jonah Kusiasare. Like, he's of prestigious talent, like through Bayern Munich and that. And if they don't have an option other than Rodrigo Muniz, then he's going to have to play a lot more minutes than he did last season. And then if not, can Oscar Bob put it together more consistently? Like, he showed so many flashes at Man City, but I don't remember a 5 to 10 game spell where he was excellent. I remember 2-3 games, like 2-3 weekends, it would be like Oscar Bob match winners sort of thing. Or but then he'd go missing or get injured or like be out of the team, and then since he's come to Fulham in January, didn't set the world alight, really.
Well, even in this team at the moment, even if he does have a good couple of games, the next game plan from the team that goes there is double mark him, and then he's probably going to be screwed. To be honest, like, if you're not doing it consistently in a City team where you have the space and you have the time, you're not going to be able to do it when you don't have the space all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying about the other attacking midfield options. Like, they have the options. I think they've got the numbers, but do any of them really scare you on any given Sunday? Like does Emile Smith-Rowe scare you? Like, does Josh King scare you? Like, Oscar Bob, Kevin. Like, I think Josh King has got talent. Well, they've all got talent. Like, they're all talented footballers in their own right. They're all like Premier League quality. But I just, like, I don't know. You field them like Alex Iwobi. Like none of them scare me.
Unless I'm being stupid, Kevin isn't even on their website. So I've just been like, look at.
Well, he was on their transfer marked.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, he's not. He's got his full Brazilian name there rather than Kevin. That's what's. Once again, being an idiot, it's been a long day. But hey ho. Cool. Okay, that's probably enough for Fulham. Sorry, any Fulham fans listening. I hope we're proved wrong. It just looks a bit off as we look at it on the 28th of July. But let's move on to a team that I'm probably going to have even worse. Well, not worse, but even pretty much the same things to say about Newcastle, who finished in 12th, who have lost all their players, basically.
I mean, back-to-back worst transfer windows like ever. Like, I don't remember a team having like 2 summers on the bounce where they just had awful windows. Like, last summer you had the Isak saga drag on, and then you brought in Alanga, Voltemada and Visser, all who struggled. Like, Voltemada's start aside, they didn't pan out last season, and obviously you bought that, like, Alanga and Voltemada have time on their side, Visser a bit less so. And then this summer, Tonali and Gordon have gone. Bruno's been making sounds that he wants a move all summer, and the new signings are big projections, in my opinion. Like Bamba and Stur in midfield, Traore in attack. They're expensive, big projections like Bamba's played like 25 games.
They're a lot of money for players I would not be spending that much money on, if that makes sense. Would you spend, what was it, 45 odd mil to 50 mil on Traore? I don't think I would.
No, I mean, and Bamba's literally, I don't think he's played a full game of like full first team football. I think he's always come off or on as a sub sort of thing. It's a lot of projection, and I just don't, like we saw last summer with Newcastle, like the names I've mentioned, like trying to get those into your team when you have such a like big figure of Sandro Tonali in that midfield gone. It's going to be a real struggle for them to just hit the ground running.
It's crazy. At 45, 50 mil for Traore, like I know everyone laughed at us for paying that for Strand Larsen, but Strand Larsen had a proven goal scoring season in the Premier League. Like,
yeah, I mean, like he is a talented player from the bits that I've seen of him at Hoffenheim, but like it is like it's a projection. And the one thing that I'm really just still surprised that Eddie Howe kept his job. Like, I'm not one for like calling for a manager to be sacked. It just had all of the hallmarks of a manager losing their job at the end of the season. Just like I mean, like you can make excuses for him, and maybe that's what's kept him in a job. Like the injuries in defence last year. If they can stay fit at the back, Livramento and Botman, for me, like they have to stay. Like you have to have them fit. They just don't have and they've lost Trippier. They just don't have that quality of player to bring in when those two especially are missing. And I mean, that's why I think maybe you get Eddie Howe has got the benefit of the doubt there, but it just struck me as they've kind of reached the end of the road with Eddie Howe, and he's sort of taken them as far as he can.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the elephant in the room. I know we don't usually talk about finances on this at all, but you could look at PIF, like they are pulling money out of sports left, right, and centre at the moment. I know neither of us care about golf, but I'm quite close to it at work, and they're like obviously in the news. They're pulling a lot of money out of that tournament. They're pulling money out of the Saudi Pro League, and they can't really pull money out of Newcastle because of, I'm guessing, PSR rules or whatever it's called now. That will make it worse, but I think they keep Eddie Howe because it's cheaper to keep him than it is to get rid of him. They can't really get rid of him and then go after a big manager who's going to want a chunky wage whilst paying off his salary. They've raised a lot of funds through the sales of Anthony Gordon and Tonali. That's probably why the sagas didn't drag on for the whole of the window, because they saw those prices and thought, let's not gamble, let's not worry about getting an extra 20 mil here. Let's get the 100 million and then go from there and cover our backs.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not panned out the way that a lot of us expected to when that takeover happened. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago now? It was around COVID time, right?
Yeah, I was working at Trailfinders at the time. I remember because one of my close mates is a Newcastle fan, and I met him there, and he was basically in tears when he found out that Ashley was selling it. It was brilliant because I felt so good for him at that point. But yeah, you're right. It hasn't. Well, I mean, they won the Carling Cup.
I mean, it's been great. It's been great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but like I think we'd become so accustomed to the sports washing owners of the world, like sort of taking their teams like further on and on. Like obviously, just the most high profile being obviously Man City and PSG. And then I think Newcastle kind of expected that because we were told like that's the richest owners in the world. Like it is essentially just a bottomless pit of money that they'll have. And obviously they've had to deal with the PSR and the sort of managing the books challenges that previous sports washing teams haven't necessarily had to do so. So that's its own challenge. But it does also feel from the outside that PIF and those sort of investors and that are going, well, actually, the shiny new thing has worn off now, and actually we're not as interested in the day-to-day or pushing the needle as far as we can. And maybe that's completely wrong based off the finances and stuff. It's just like a vibe feeling from the outside that like it doesn't feel like that. When they first came in, it was like these big grand gestures, these big sweeping statements. Newcastle were going to compete at the top end of the league in the Champions League, and they have done in the Champions League, and they've won the Carabao, but like it doesn't necessarily feel like they've kept that up, and they've been pushing for that from like an ownership perspective.
Yeah, it does feel like that. I mean, the big thing for me is if they lose Bruno, I think they're in genuine trouble. Like,
I mean, yeah, you can't
How many
lose
times
those
did
two
he-
midfielders.
well, how many times were there games where he pulled them through it? And
Well, he was their top goal scorer
Well,
with
he
9
did-
goals last season.
he
Like,
was the one that produced bits of magic in games that won them those games, or got them points out of those games. If they don't have him, who is stepping up? Like, who?
well, that's the thing is like you look at the amount of changes that there's been over the last two summer transfer windows, and you're just seeing a vacuum of one, leadership, and two, like high-end talent that is proven in this league as well. Like Bamba and Stur and Traore are very exciting prospects, but they haven't done it in the Premier League.
I don't know how they do it. Like, looking through their team, Nick Pope is their first choice keeper. Not even having Ramsdale as a backup anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
they've signed another keeper, and they might even be signing a third keeper. They signed Yawen from France, a team in France, and he's a young. They've been desperate to replace Pope for like a few years now. Like,
It does feel like that, doesn't it? And why not just go out and get you've been given 150 million. Why not go out and get a proven keeper? Like,
well, they've been desperate to get James Trafford over the last couple of seasons, but he seems to be on his way to Leeds at the time of recording. So it looks like that's another one that they've missed out on. And like they tried Aaron Ramsdale, and that didn't work. And now they've got a couple of young ones that they're trying to sign, and it's just that like none of it feels like settled. Like I mentioned him earlier, like Livramento, he missed so many games over the last 3 seasons and missed a World Cup this summer because of an injury. He's likely to take that injury into the start of the season. So there's just so many. It just feels so unstable as a team. And you mentioned if Bruno leaves, that is such a vacuum in that midfield. Like losing Tonali is already big enough. Joe Linton works really well when you have Tonali and Guimaraes in the midfield, but if it's just Joe Linton left and you're filling the blanks with like Bamba and Stur or Jacob Murphy, you're asking for a lot.
Jeez.
Jacob Ramsey, sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've still got Jacob Murphy as your wide option.
Yeah. My lord. Who becomes your standout player in that? I guess Visser has to have the season of his life. Harvey Barnes has to play
He's
every
signing a
game.
new contract.
Yeah, but Barnes, I may be speaking on my arse on this, but is he capable of playing a full season? I feel like he's injury prone, no? Or am I making that up?
Yeah,
I might be
I think
making...
I do think he misses a few games here and there, but he also just doesn't fire in every single game, sort of thing. It is a lot to put on Harvey Barnes' shoulders. Like Jacob Murphy had that hot spell, a year or two ago now, and Visser and Voltemada really struggled towards the end of the season.
You need Voltemada to be doing it now, don't you? Let's be honest.
I mean, Osula was taking it at the end of the season. He was their starting striker, and he just strikes with me as a player who will end up at Frankfurt and then be £100 million player in a year's time.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it might have been a flash in the pan. That's end of season bit for him. Like we said, game out when he was doing well, it's like the lankiest player doing bits, and yeah, fair enough to him. The Newcastle kit's pretty disgusting as well. But
It is bad.
it's
The
fucking...
barcode kit, they've taken it too far, and the sponsor and the blue on it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, but I feel like me talking about bad kits is people throwing stones from glass houses with the 2 Palace have announced recently. So
Shocking kits those.
feel free to shit on me, Newcastle and any other fans. You got one to watch for Newcastle?
I mean, it just has to be Alaji Bamba and Sean Stir in midfield. Like, who steps up in that? Like, there's already one position with Tonali out that is vacated for one of these to sort of step up. If Guimaraes leaves, then they both have to step up, and that's really the space to watch for Newcastle next season is how that midfield plays out. Like who gets the lead, who stakes their claim for that position.
Yeah. Any positives? I feel like we've been really negative there. Like really negative.
I mean, like they were in the Champions League last season. Like they've proven that they can, when all things are clicking. Like St James's Park is still a fortress. They could definitely prove us wrong. Like it's not beyond belief that these things start clicking. Elanga, Voltemada, and Visser, second season in, start clicking. Like the new signings, one or two of them really works. Like Traore hits the ground running sort of thing, and they start to look up the table. It's just projections at this point.
Yeah, I guess them and Forest are probably the last clubs we could talk about this with. Maybe Palace as well, but it feels like all the other 14 clubs have been not robbed, but had their best players taken away this window by top 6 clubs. There's been a proper like onus on big clubs signing these players now and for big money, and it does feel like this season could be the season where there's a big difference between those top 6 filling out those top 6 places and everyone else kind of filling up the gaps. Apart from Spurs, they'll probably still shit the bed.
Yeah, they'll still finish 17th. So
yeah, you know what I mean? Though, are you feeling that?
Yeah, I think we've seen that for the last couple of seasons, though. Like, I feel like we said the same thing last summer, like where like it was like the top level like talent left the other 14 teams. Like a couple of our other 14 team of the season from not last season, just finished the season before. We were like, well, they've gone, like they're off to Man United or Chelsea or whatever sort of thing. And it's like, I feel like we've seen that more in recent seasons for sure because of how much wealth there is in the Premier League now.
Yeah, maybe it's just
your Palaces and that have such good players that they become too good, and then the top 6 teams end up taking them, sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe it's just so stark because of Newcastle possibly losing 3 of their best players. Well, their 3 best players. They're basically their team. It is like neither of us rated Anthony Gordon that much during a Premier League season, but fair fucks to him. In an England shirt this summer, he was very good in some of the games. Like, come on,
he was all right. In a couple of games, he was all right.
Nah, he was pretty damn good. So, yeah, okay. Newcastle fans, sorry about that, but you never know. Should we move on to Everton?
This is what I said. This is the doom and gloom podcast. Like, we are looking at the teams who finished in the bottom half last season, and it is like, are you looking over your shoulder, or are you looking up? And brings us nicely onto Everton. I think we can have a bit of positivity here. I know I'm quite high on a team who finished 13th last season. I know you were very high on them last summer, and maybe went a season too early with your one of your bold predictions in the table.
Did I have them in Europe last year?
8th or 9th, I think you had them.
Yeah, I guess I trusted Moyes, and I'm probably going to do the same again this year because you just got to feel comfortable with him as your manager. Like, you know you're not going to go down, and if he can get his squad going, then why not push for Europe? I mean, they probably lost some. They lost some key players. Idris, a guy. I mean, not really. He was a good machine, but he's so old. Like,
yeah, I think they've had a really stable summer after last summer's, like, they had to sign half a new squad because everyone was leaving as a free agent, and then also the stadium move. Like, last summer it felt chaotic, upheaval. Like, it was a busy summer for Everton. Like, they were like scrambling to get positions filled towards the end of the season, towards the end of the summer window. Whereas this summer they've looked like they finished 13th, which steady finish, having been battling relegation for multiple seasons before. And under Moyes, you're right, like the floor just is like survival for sure. Like I just don't think they'll be in a relegation battle, and I think their aim has to be a European place with the teams above some of the teams above them who are in Europe this summer, who I think this season I think will take a step back with the European nights. I think that is primed for Everton, who have brought in some really young, exciting talent, which is odd for a David Moyes team. Like Hayden Hackney finally gets his chance in the Premier League after 3-4 seasons of being linked to Palace, West Ham, every other 14 team, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Tyreek George's loan from Chelsea has been made permanent. Like they've brought some young, exciting talent in to bolster the squad.
I think, yeah, I agree with you a lot there on it all. But I think one thing they got to do, because of the rumours of Iliman and Dye going to Saudi, I think it's pretty key they need to keep him, though. I think to be able to... No, because, like you say, the floor is probably survival. The floor? Yeah, the floor is survival.
Mm-hmm.
And they will do that, I reckon. But if they want to, like you say, take advantage of all these teams in Europe, they need him in that squad too. Or if they're selling him, he needs to go for big money, and they need 2 players as good as, if not nearly as good as him, in the squad. And I think they can do it then, with that point. Probably need another centre-back. I don't see how Michael Keane and Tarkowski have the legs for another year. If they're going to be...
Yeah, you can't... They need they need a couple of players here and there. Like you could argue they might need a striker as well. Like Beto top scored with 9 last year. Barry missed a barn full of chances. Like,
yeah, but I reckon Beto and Barry come good. I've got so much time for those two. Like if they were
you
my
really
strike,
do.
I know if they were my strike force, I wouldn't be too pissed off about it. Like I don't mind it. It's 2 people who are relatively the same, who are probably going to get you near double-digit goals each season. It feels like that. It feels like it. They're not quite Mateta and Stratton Larson who are going to get you bags of goals each season, but what can you do? Not every club has the riches of Palace.
How many goals has Stratton Larson scored for you?
He scored
2.
What was it? 3 in one game? No, he didn't get a hat trick against Thingy, did he? He scored 2 against Burnley, 1 against Spurs, 1 against Shakhtar. Did he get any others after that? I can't remember.
56 mil well spent.
Mate, got hold up play. Got a European trophy in the cabinet now because of him. So I think you're 56.
Anyway, yeah, like you're right. Everton, they could definitely do with a new centre back in there. Like obviously, but you do have Jared Branthwaite coming back. Like you could, I just feel they're looking for finishing touches. And I mean, if Iliman and Dye does leave, then that is a major hole, and they might look to get Jack Grealish back or something like that. But at the moment, how the squad is at the time of recording, they're looking for finishing touches or like backup, sort of like to improve on the first 11 sort of thing. Whereas last summer it was, we need everyone, we need starters and that. And I think there's just so much talent within Everton's squad right now. David Moyes has them singing off the same hymn sheet. Like I think they're just like primed for taking advantage of the teams above them having European places or question marks over them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't like agreeing with you, but I can't not agree with you on that one. Like, it's exactly how I've been thinking the whole time about it. So, yeah, you got one to watch for Everton?
I mean, I think it'll be Tyreek George. Like, I think he showed flashes towards the end of the season. Like, it was that last game against Tottenham where he almost scored a beautiful goal. And I think he's settled now and he can start cooking with gas. Like, this is a young player that was really, really highly thought of at Chelsea. Like, he had quite a few first-team chances at Chelsea. And there's a reason why Everton have been convinced by his loan spell to make it permanent. And you're right that's maybe the sort of like the wide positions at Everton and maybe where there's a spot or two up for grabs. Like Jack Grealish isn't back at Everton at the time of recording. Like he's at Man City still. So whereas you thought that might be an avenue they might look back into once he'd recovered from injury. If Iliman and Dye does leave, then that's massive and they'll be desperate for a replacement. But if Iliman and Dye stays, then he's going to draw double coverage at times. Like, how many times last season did we see and I get doubled up once Jack Grealish
exactly.
went down, and it's like that kind of situation really opens it up for Tyreek George. And I mean, we've gone all this time without talking about him, but Kiernan Dewsbury Hall was
On fire
excellent
at the end.
excellent last season. Like really, he came back from that little injury January February time and really just kicked on. And like they like defensively, Everton were a mess the last several games of the season, and hit like around Dewsbury Hall, they were keeping the goals that kept them in games rather than them just being blowouts. Like I will come on to him next week's episode because I've got a prediction. But yeah, he like that. I just feel quite confident, and I'm really excited to see what Hayden Hackney does when he gets with his finally getting his Premier League chance.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Don't like how much we agreed on all that, but hey ho.
It was a bit too friendly, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? Should we move on to Leeds, who finished 14th last season? I'm very confident about Leeds this year. I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I am.
Interesting.
I think Harry Wilson as a free transfer is, I think they've struck gold with that. I was talking to a Leeds fan at the pub during the England-Argentina game, and he was like, "Oh, who do you support?" I was like, "Palace," and he said Leeds. I was like, "How you done, Harry Wilson on a free?" It was like, "Yeah, when do you ever get a club's player of the season on a free transfer?" And it's just like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, probably giving him big wages, but at his age, he's 28 odd, getting in his
29,
prime.
I think.
29, getting his prime for a couple of years. I think if he can link up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front.
I mean, it's kind of perfect. Like, if it works out for like a team who have been back in the Premier League for one season, it's kind of like the perfect transfer to consolidate your Premier League status. Like, free transfer, obviously the signing on fee and the wages, etc. But like, that's such a it felt like they desperately needed a right winger at times last season. Like it felt like they tried 3 or 4 different players in that position, and they sort of had to. They obviously switched to the back 5, and the right wing back does so much of that work. But Harry Wilson feels like he really works in that kind of system as well. Yeah, and you're right. Like, I think he, like, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored 14 goals last season. They've signed Fulham's best player on a free transfer, who was their top scorer, I think, last season.
Yeah, it was.
And, with 10, and like that's just such a, like, as I say, just really solidifies your place as a Premier League team.
It really does. And then they've seemingly figured out. Well, you'd think they have figured out their goalkeeper problem.
Yeah, at the time of recording, it seems like James Trafford is on his way to Ellen Road for 40 mil roughly, and Carl Darlow went to Man United, as I said, to ride the bench, and then Lucas Perry's just been kicking about, doing me dirty.
Lucas Perry, yeah. What did you think? I told you. You should have listened to me. I'm not Oracle. But yeah, I mean,
save it for next week.
Yeah, I mean, James Trafford, for what are they paying, 40 odd mil? I think is rumoured at.
I mean, it's a really interesting one, because how many we've heard about James Trafford for years now. Like, obviously came through the England like unders teams, like won tournaments with the England unders, Man City Youth Academy. Like, we've heard about him for years. Went to Burnley, was part of one of the best defences the Championship has ever seen, and then he went back to Man City, and after like a couple of games got benched for Donnarumma. Like,
yeah, but if he doesn't make that mistake, or in like the first or second game, he probably plays every game for City this year, and Donnarumma doesn't come. Let's be honest, if it wasn't that cutthroat, and everyone would be talking about him as probably one of the best keepers in the world. Like,
okay, but in the small sample size that we've seen of him at Premier League level, he's looked out of his depth for like, and he's made a mistake. Like, this is a really, really harsh take. I'm just trying to, like, let's not just say like James Trafford is going to be Leeds number 1 and England's number 1 for 20 years. Like, it is still a projection. He is still really lightweight, in my opinion, for a goalkeeper. Like, skinny, like, he hasn't bulked up as a sort of man now as a goalkeeper. Like, I mean, maybe this is just me and nostalgia talking, but the goalkeepers used to be big. Like, Peter Schmeichel was big. Van der Sar was big. Like, they were like, keepers now are skinnier, but like, he's like, I'm like, obviously it's a really, really small sample size, but you mentioned he made a mistake on his first or second game for Man City. This is the Premier League. It's not like Burnley, super defensive team in the Championship sort of thing.
Yeah, but he's going to go.
I think it will go well, but like I just don't necessarily think we should be putting out a guard of honour for him.
I just think he's going to go back to like Burnley, where he's going to be more defensive in this Leeds team than he was in that City team, where he was. Let's be honest, he was probably out of his depth in that City team because he was playing a system he's not used to, or probably not that good at. Was he known for passing out to the back at Burnley? I'm guessing probably not.
No, not really, but like that's how he would have played at Man City, and that's how he played with the England unders and stuff. And Farke will ask him to do a mixture of both. But like I think Leeds have done really well. Like I think Harry Wilson's a great signing. I think James Trafford is the right signing. Like it is an upgrade on where you were last season, and Mehmerovic to replace Strauch to get younger and with a higher ceiling as a player. I think they've done really well this summer in targeting areas. My one maybe drawback for Leeds, like to sort of go against what you're saying, like you're fully behind them. Does Daniel Farke have a plan B? Like they looked really iffy for the first 3-4 months of the season. They went to this 5 at the back. It really, really worked. They were really physical. Ellen Road is a fortress. They were able to knock teams off the ball. If that doesn't go so well, do cracks start to appear? Does Daniel Farke have a plan B? Or do we just expect that to just work for the rest of the season?
No, I guess he was pragmatic to change it in the first place, so if he gets found out again, could he not be pragmatic to change it again?
Maybe, but this is also a manager who there were rumours of him leaving last summer because apparently Leeds had suspicions that maybe he wasn't a Premier League manager given his time with Norwich in the Premier League previously. It didn't start well last season, so he moved to a plan B, which absolutely give him credit for. Like we gave him credit so many times last season for turning things around and finding that magic for Leeds to stay in the division and finding the formula. But I just don't think that. I think it's still worthwhile at the start, before the season starts, to think like, right, it's a 38 game season. It's a long time. It like teams get found out. Like Antonio Conte's Chelsea is like the sort of most vivid example that comes to my mind of being like, wow, this formation completely changed, like took the league by storm. Everyone now wanted to play 3 at the back with wing backs. Eventually it got found out. Do Leeds just continue this progress of they're now they survived the first season? That was all that was asked of them. They build on it in the second season. I mean, I think they can. Like, I think they can aim towards a top half finish or a mid-table finish at least, maybe with an outside chance of Europe if things fully click for them. I just don't think it's just like with Daniel Farke at the helm. I just don't think it's natural. It's going to be a smooth upwards trajectory, and we can just say that's that.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the fence, but I'm pretty confident with them. I just feel like there's going to be a bit of magic there this season.
Okay, what if Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets injured?
Why are you going to be like that? Why are you going to be like that?
Sorry, Leeds fans, but like, what if Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets injured? Felix Nemetra was Lucas Nemetra was okay. Joel Pirro is not good enough. Are you going to play Harry Wilson up there? Wilfred Gnonto?
Yeah, you don't need a striker if you got Harry Wilson. Fulham proved that last year.
Maybe. But
what are you going to do about
that? I mean, to be fair, Joe Gelhardt came back from a good loan at Hull. If he stays, maybe Leeds' patience with him as worn, like, has finally reaped its benefits, and he can be he can be Calvert-Lewin's backup. But I just think it's worth having a concern about.
No. Anyway, should we move on to Palace, finishing 15th and winning the Conference League?
Okay, just quickly, my one to watch would be Trafford because I'm really really interested to see how he gets on as a Premier League number 1. But yes, fine, let's go to Palace.
How can he be your number 1, your one to watch after we just went on about that?
Because
You're
I'm excited to see how he gets on.
you're a small little man, small man.
No, it's just like
You just wanted the disagreement because we agreed too much on Everton. I see your ways. I see it. But yeah. Anyway, Palace. Do you want to take it away? Because I don't even know what to expect.
you don't know where to start, right? Oliver Glasner has left the building. South London and proud, or not anymore because he's gone to Nottingham Forest. But Sarge in, I think there's similarities in sort of play style. Like there is a lot based on transition, but I think with like low amounts of possession. But I think Sarge will probably aim for a bit of a higher press than Glasner did at times, where Glasner very much quite felt like get back into our block and then burst out the traps kind of thing. I think there's a lot of continuity in the side. Like, yes, the top end talents have departed over the last couple of seasons, and that's true again this summer as it was in January, as it was last summer. But I think there's quite a lot of there's still a lot of talent in there that years gone by, Palace had really high end players like Wilfried Zaha and like Yannick Bolasie, and then the like lower end of the first team wasn't that great. Whereas this time it feels like yes, Eze, Elise, like Gahey, they are top end, but then you've still got so much around them. Like you've still got Wharton, you've still got Munoz, you've still got Mateta, you've still got Ismail Assar, you've still got Chris Richards, like you've still got Tyreek Mitchell. You brought back Daichi Kamada. There's like, do you get what I mean? Like the general playing team is a lot better than it used to be when you had the high end talents.
Yeah, I mean, we had the high end talents and nothing really. Nothing else. So if they got injured, it was all Rusty and Joe and Ayew to do the business, which our Ghanaian Prince did quite a bit for us. So can't be upset with that. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect with Sarge's playing style or how it's going to kick off. If it wasn't my club and I was looking in, I'd be like, I'm proven manager. I'd be wide straight away for that club. So I've got to be completely honest with that.
Yeah, I mean that combined with Europe is a
Recipe
concerning.
For disaster.
Yeah, like you would like you said, like if this was another team and you put on paper, finished 15th last season, they've got Europa League football to worry about this season. You can add the top end players that have left and a new manager. It does feel like a recipe for not success.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the squad as it is at the moment. Well, not happy. I think we still need a new centre back, but it looks like we're in for 2 new centre backs with Lacroix going, which I'm pretty happy about. Do not know what they're like, but young French talent it looks like, so probably going to be okay there. Could probably do with another winger or striker in case Mateta leaves. Midfield.
Well, feels. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. Like the attackers, because Sarr and Mateta, excellent. They've been incredible for Palace over the last couple of seasons. Outside of that, you've got it feels like you have a lot of players who need to kick on. And I know I'm down on Strand Larson, but he's not the worst of this bunch at all. Like he's definitely the best of the names I'm about to reel off. But Eddie Nketiah, Jeremy Pino,
World Cup winner,
Brennan Johnson,
he'll come good.
Romain Esse, and then Raksaki for the two young guys at the end. But like,
yeah, Eze I reckon will come good. The Rack isn't. He's not good enough. We need a cut ties.
But like, we'll talk about the bigger names more. Like Brennan Johnson. Like
he's got to
you really need him to kick on, right?
Yeah, I mean, is Sarge going to play him as a winger? Is he going to play him in his actual position rather than getting him to play a 10, which he couldn't do under Glasner? I don't know. Is Sarge going to play to his strengths where it's going to be like running onto the ball in behind and being balls going towards the back post, which he'll be running in to get? Because that's what every Spurs fan has told me. If he's getting balls going towards the back post and running in, he will score those. Anything else, not really. He's not going to be the creative player in the middle of the pitch. He will have pace and whatnot and come good there, but yeah.
Well, you think about his best times at Forest, which is still his best spell, in my opinion. Like, was coming in off that left with balls over the top or, like, making, like, bursting runs into the box kind of thing.
Yeah.
He was never really a player who got involved in the build-up, where
No.
Jeremy Pino is more of that player, and had a okay season towards the end of it. Like, I think he settled a little bit. I just don't think it necessarily lived up to the billing that
Yeah, I think as a
felt like at first.
first season in the Premier League, I think he did really well. Like, Daichi had one of the worst first seasons in the Premier League for us, how people looked at it, and then came really good at the end of it. I think Pino, he honestly might set the Premier League on fire next year, which may be biased, but the stuff I've seen him do in European games and towards the end of the season, he had so many goals chalked off for really unlucky, tight offsides. So I think he's going to come really good. Biggest thing we've done is somehow got Daichi Kamada to sign an extra year in his contract. I don't know how the hell we did that. I think everyone at Palace thought he'd be going to Forest with following Glasner like he has everywhere else. But I think keeping him means we keep Wharton, which is good.
I mean, it's an interesting one. I don't know if Daichi Kamada exists without Oliver Glasner as his manager.
Yeah.
He went off to Lazio, and it was a pretty bad time for him in Italy. Yeah. And then he obviously comes back, works under Glasner again, and rediscovers his talent like he did when he was at Frankfurt.
I think he's too. I think he's too good. Like, saw him for Japan as well. I think he's too good to not succeed in the Premier League now. Unless,
I mean, he's developed and he knows that position now a lot more than he did. Like, I think that midfield sort of like roaming, like passing it around, strolling around, sort of like suits him quite well.
Yeah, but I think he'll still struggle against the smaller teams where they're playing a low block. That's where hopefully Czech Tokore will be back, and he'll be able to actually break up play against those teams and be able to do stuff if he can stay. If he can stay fit and not be injured for the whole season like he has the last two.
Yeah, if it's doing is a heavy lift in that sentence.
I know there's a heavy lift in that sentence, but we can hope.
Wharton staying?
I think he is. I mean,
it sounds like it from what I've not the no rumours going around.
I think everyone's been scared by the price tag, and why not just wait another year? If he'd gone to the World Cup, it would have been a bit more wide, but it's feeling okay with that. I mean, the main thing I'm worried about is that our last two pre-seasons were lost 3-0, and they're against Bromley. So the South London derby, getting battered 3-0 by Bromley, and then getting bad 3-0 by Rennes today. And we're playing another team, and I think we're probably going to get battered by them as well. That's all a bit worrying, but I guess we're missing loads of players because so many went to the World Cup. Another thing
I was going to say, like, have many of your players been playing this pre-season?
No, that's another thing we haven't actually touched on for a lot of teams is a lot of teams are going to be missing players at the beginning of the season with them coming back from the World Cup. And yes, we made the big deal. Well, the media made the big deal of Palace having 12 players there, more Spanish players than Real Madrid, and all that. But we're going to pay the price of that because they're going to be leggy at the beginning of the season, miss pre-season with the new manager. Might take them ages to get going, which is that's a worry. Our main thing is we need to get points early on in the season so we can then have fun in Europe. And I don't know how it goes. And once again, once again, like I said at the beginning of last season. Am I really looking forward to the season? Do I think I've reached the pinnacle with Palace? Yes. Will I probably be enjoying it once again after 2 weeks in? I probably will be. But yeah, at the moment, it's one of those where it's like, does it need to come back? I don't know.
I mean, your last game was a European final, so yes, it kind of feels like you don't want to. Like once the games start happening, the memory gets further and further away.
Exactly. It's all those things. And they've not helped with 2 kit releases, which I think are both. I love the sash, but why it wasn't just a solid red and blue colours without those stupid squiggly lines, not squiggly, but stupid lines in the middle. And the black one looks like a training kit. I'm hoping when I see the black one in person, the eagle looks a lot cooler on it than it does, but I don't think it will.
Also, the sponsor is bad.
Yeah, the sponsor's really bad. Temporary.
Okay, my one to watch. I'm probably going to go for Chadi Riyad or JD Canvo. Like, I think with Lacroix out the door, it opens up the door for one or both of them to really cement their positions. I imagine Chris Richards, obviously, I know Palace are bringing in sort of other players, but I think you'd be fine with Richards in the middle and Riyad and Canvo on either side at times. Like, I think that could be a pretty good defensive setup.
Yeah, I'm more confident in Canvo than I am Chadi. Chadi had a really good final, European final, I thought. But
And he had
Cambo,
a good World Cup.
yeah, and a great World Cup. I really don't want Cambo to lose his place, in all honesty, because he was brought in meant to be a backup. We weren't meant to see him last season at all, but obviously with Marco, when he came in, and he's looked immense. So I really don't want him to lose his place to someone new coming in, if I'm being completely honest. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one, but good to have those options, and if we bring new people in for Europe. Cool, I've rambled a lot on Palace, probably not said too much anything constructive, just how I feels at the moment. I'm a bit terrified, bit not looking forward to it, but don't think we'll get relegated. Hopefully we could win the Europa League, maybe. I don't know. I'm scared of how exhausted I'm going to be with all the European games once again. But anyway, moving on to a team that doesn't have Europe, Nottingham Forest.
You're down on these.
What, down on Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
I am. I generally am down on Nottingham Forest because I just think there's going to be drama. I can't.
I mean, I disagree. I'm quite high on them.
Really? I think there's going to be drama. I think Glasner's going to go in. He's going to have a similar start to what he had at Palace, where it wasn't very good. And at Christmas time, the year we won the FA Cup, there were calls for his head. Like, I remember it was a Newcastle game. I think we ended up drawing 1-1 or winning 2-1 in the last minute. It was like, if he loses that, he could be gone. And I don't think he gets as enough time with Marinakis that he got with Steve Parish. Like,
I mean, the first note for me is that this is their fifth manager in less than 12 months. And my second note is we know exactly what we'll be getting with Glasner. He's been very consistently the same manager at Frankfurt, at Wolfsburg, at Palace. He's been the same. He's very consistent. You know what you'll be getting from him. Like, he is a little bit of a spiky character at times, but he will deliver. Like, he will deliver results. But the big question is, how soon will he clash with Marinakis and it all fall down? But I think if they can avoid that toxic situation that potentially is there, or at least it doesn't happen this season, then I think Glasner, with what is a Nottingham Forest team who massively underperformed in the Premier League last year, based on the amount of talent that they've got, with the additions that they'll make here and there to sort of like adapt to Glasner's system, I think if they can avoid that toxic situation, it could work out really, really well, and they be back up looking top half of the table rather than another relegation scrap. Like you said it multiple times last season, this team are way too good. Like the talent they have is way too good to be in a relegation scrap.
Yeah, it was, but I don't think
so. You put Glasner in there, who you've seen for the last 2.5 years be an excellent manager, and you put those two together. If you took the ownership out of the equation, or at least just imagine that it doesn't boil over for the first 12 months, can you not quite easily see a positive turnaround, and then maybe a season after? Because Nuno's a similar sort of character. Like, he's a sort of a strong-willed. He knows what he wants. He knows that he should be involved in the transfer making decisions, and that was taken away from him, and he stuck up for himself. But that happened after 2 seasons, 2.5.
The reason I can't see it is, yes, Forest do have good players in good positions, but I don't think they have the puzzle pieces that Glasner needs for his team at the moment.
Like who? Because I think they do.
Okay,
I think Nico Williams and Ola Aina are perfectly suited as wing backs. I think Milenkovic and Murillo, and add in what seemingly Usman Diomande from Sporting, if not name another third centre back. I think that's a great that's a great central defence 3. I think Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, Dan Endoy, are great options for those 10s. I think they've got, and Omari Hutchinson, I think they've got plenty of options for those 10s. Even James McAtee is a good option. He's further down your pecking list. I
think apart from obviously Gibbs White, I don't think any of those people can play the 10 role like Glasner wants them to play.
I don't know. I think that's harsh.
I don't think it's harsh, because these are all good, and Hutchinson, they're all good players that with the ball at their feet, they can beat a man, they can do all that. That's not what he wants. He never wanted that. Look at the 10s that have worked for him best.
I don't know. Dan and Doy's quite a similar profile to Ismail Assar.
Yeah, Doy I guess is better, but is he? Is he?
And then like Hutchinson and Hudson-Odoi profile more similarly to Eberechi Eze.
Yeah, but he never wanted Ebbs, and they're not as good as Ebbs.
No, but he worked with it. Like if you have Morgan Gibbs-White in there, they've signed Zava Schlager as a free transfer, who is a great engine in midfield.
Let's not be talking about beers right now. I don't see it working yet. I think they need more. Nico Williams, I don't think is a good enough wing back for what.
I mean, this is a team that finished 7th a season ago.
Yeah, playing fucking
with most of this squad. Like,
who was the manager when they did that? It was
Nuno.
Nuno
playing similar football, defensive, counter-attacking, transition, like defend your box first and then break forward. They've got all like they haven't really lost players like except for Elanga over the last couple of seasons, and they brought in so much talent last summer and it was too much and it didn't work as one, and they probably need to trim the fat a little bit here and there and maybe bring in a couple of players who are more suited to Glasner's style. Chris Wood is old Philippe Mateta. They've got Igor Jesus as well, who really came on as the season went on. Like I think he got better and better.
He's not making it in a Glasner team. I don't care what you say. There's no way.
I mean, okay, then I think that's your one position that is maybe a little bit.
Iwanini is probably the first choice for that Glasner system. Big man.
I mean, I love Taiwo Awoniyi from his Union Berlin days, but he's never fit.
I know he's never fit, but he's probably their best bet up front for what Glasner wants to do. He wants the ball to go up to him as quickly as possible and then bang it left or right to the wing backs running onto it. It's what we saw time and time again, and I don't see this Forest team doing that. I just don't. I think they're going to still rely on Morgan Gibbs-White massively to do all the work in that midfield when he needs to be then as a 10. Who out of the two holding midfielders going to be able to get the ball up the pitch? Who's going to be able to control and like basically run the rhythm of the game?
Well, Schlager is your engine in there, and Sangare is your breakup player. Like, and Schlager can carry the ball really well, and then if all he has to do is carry it and then lay it off to Gibbs-White and that.
But he's got to find.
They're not like play over the top sort of passes, and they're not like as expansive a passing range as like Adam Wharton has, but.
You need someone that makes that killer ball for those 10s or the striker running through. I'm literally just running through all the times in my head and all the goals we scored and how all the build-up play, blah, blah, blah. Like, all of them have come through stuff like that, and I don't see this Forest team doing that yet because they're close, but they're missing certain vital bits of the puzzle. Maybe I get proved completely wrong, but 2 years of Glasner and knowing he won't change his system if it doesn't go right, this is why in the back of my head it's all just boiling up to be like, this is a match made in hell for these people. Or he proves me wrong and they go off to a flyover start and egg on my face. Then I probably will be getting bitter when they're sat in the Champions League spaces. But I just think there's too many unknowns with it.
Interesting. We're very, very like on opposite sides of this, and I do think it goes one way or the other. I don't think Forest are just going to finish 13th. I think it's either going to go really, really well, like I think it can, or it goes tits up, like you're predicting.
Yeah, it does feel like that all round. And I mean, it could get as bad as Glasner not getting the transfers he wants before the end of August, and he's gone. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it very much could be. Like, we could be talking all about this, and then he's left before.
That's how crazy it is, and how volatile he can be. And the thing when he said, the digger, I don't know if we talked about this on the pod already, probably not, but on his first reveal, he was like, oh, it's nice to find a person who has more ambition than myself in Marinakis. I was like, that's a rod for your own back right there. I mean, I love it as a pointed statement to Steve Parish, but still, just like, It's just, yeah.
But he's gonna say these things, and Marinakis is gonna do something crazy. I just can see it not happening this season. I think they can get things cooking early, and be a happy marriage for the rest of the season, and then yes, eventually it will all go Pete Tong.
But a bit of me just looks at it like this is the last we'll do because we're running a bit over anyways. Liz, do you not think he's going to try to play a system in the Premier League, which, let's be honest, probably got found out by bottom 6 teams and not top 6 teams, but he's going to go and try and do it with worse players than he had to do it at Palace?
I don't think they're that worse players. Like I just don't think there's that much of a drop off.
Really?
I think you're taking last season's performance in the league to like putting too much bank on it, because like literally the season before they finished 7th and then they had Europe to contend with. I think Glasner without Europe, I don't think his, especially as you say with the bigger teams, has been found out at all, and I think his style still really suits that. Yes, there might be games where they're the favourites and they struggle to break teams down, but I think they're still going to pinch loads of points with Glasner's style against the bigger teams. I think there's plenty of points up for grab for Forest.
I think first 5 games, Leeds at home, I think Leeds beat them in there. Liverpool away, probably don't get that. Spurs at home, they probably win now because Spurs are shit. Villa away, they lose that. Coventry at home, could be a sticky one. Then Palace away, I reckon he's sacked at Palace away if they've only got like 2 points. Could you imagine? Lordy Lord.
It's not happening, mate. You're sounding bitter.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying how I see it. Because, yeah, Glasner will not stand for bullshit. Marinakis will not stand for bullshit. They'll get on each other's tits and it'll go wrong.
Well, let's see. Next week we've got our predictions episode coming out, so we're definitely off the base of this episode going to have some differing predictions.
Yeah, to say the least. Okay, you got one to watch for Forest?
I think it'll be Diomande if he signs, and then maybe if Hutchinson can get a game. But if not, I think I'm really excited to see Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi as Glasner's 2 number 10s and see how they fare in that system, because it does sort of all revolve around those 2 10s.
Hudson-Odoi's not going to be able to do it, but whatever. That Diomande was linked with us the whole of
for the last 2 years.
Following fucking Glasner around now. But hey, oh, cool. Okay, we'll leave it there. Feel free to rate and review the podcast and tell your friends, and follow us on socials at other 14 podcast. Did I?
FC podcast.
FC podcast. Yeah, I got it wrong then. And then email in at other14podcast@gmail.com. Other14podcast@gmail.com.
Other14fcpodcast@gmail.com.
Flipping out. That's why I need.
He's trying to do it off the dome and failing badly.
Yeah, failing badly, even though I do it nearly once a week for the last year. Cool. Anyway, catch
it's you. Not changed.
Just for our predictions next week.
Cheers.